What if I told you that there are multiple suns and multiple domes on this flat Earth, and even the rainbows show how local the sun is?
I'd say sorry, Barney, you're gonna have to explain because unfortunately, I don't speak idiot.
Go nuts on my nuts.
As I showed you this earlier, the sun is very local. In fact, it is in the clouds.
Cool story, bro. So let me ask you this, Barnabas. How come aeroplanes, when they fly through the clouds, don't crash into the sun? Tidy!
One of the images that we are often presented with is something like this. So we have the flat Earth, and then we have the dome, the sky, and all the luminaries. And although I think this is true, what most people don't talk about is the local domes.
The what now?
The local domes.
I thought that's what you said. Now, there is so much to pick apart in this video, I almost don't know where to start. But I'm gonna give it a go.
So I think we have a global dome.
Oh, careful, Barney, a slip of the tongue like that is gonna get you talked about in the flat earth community.
There's no globe, obviously.
Is there not? Okay, fine. Nice save, by the way.
But like one whole dome for the whole flat Earth, but I think that there are smaller local domes as well, and smaller local suns.
Interesting.
Well, yeah, you would think it was interesting, Jeranism, wouldn't you? Because you were one of the first people to mention local domes, you idiot. Now button it and let Barney get on with making a fool of himself, please. Sorry, what I meant to say was shut up and let Barney get on with explaining to us why we all have individual domes and our own personalized sun.
When I was a Christian, I read the Bible verses where, you know, God created the dome and the flat Earth, and he then also created the rainbow for Noah, right? As some kind of
Well, that's what I've been going wrong, because there's me thinking that a rainbow is caused by sunlight and changing atmospheric conditions. You know, when light enters a water droplet, slowing down and bending as it goes from air into denser water, and the light then reflects off the inside of the droplet, separating into its component wavelengths. It's not that at all, Barney. Well, damn. Now, don't I feel stupid? It turns out that God made it for Noah because he liked the pretty colors.
And so the rainbow was to me something that signified, symbolized, or actually showed the real dome.
So what about when there aren't any rainbows visible? Does that mean there are no domes?
Until recently, when I dropped Christianity for good.
1 second, Barney. If you've dropped Christianity, what's your excuse for being this misguided? Because previously you could have argued that your religious beliefs dictate that you believe the earth is flat. Because after all, we all know that the Bible is the most accurate scientific book ever written. So now that you're no longer a Christian, this just comes down to blatant stupidity. Because you still believe that the earth is flat.
And then I realized actually when I started to use my rational brain.
Rational brain? Good one.
That, you know, the rainbow is not as big as the dome, right? The earth is so big, and yet we see that one part of the rainbow starts here at the one end of the town, and the other end of the rainbow ends at the other end of the town. So clearly that is not the full spectrum of the whole dome, right? And that's when I started to realize that rainbows are probably showing local domes.
Now then, we are all aware that flat earthers cherry pick. And what I mean by that is they will dumb down or select certain parts of an argument to suit the flat earth narrative, which is what Barnabas is doing here. Because he can't make the real explanation of what causes rainbows work with his insane belief in a flat earth, he is now manipulating his explanation to suit his narrative. Because he's a flat earther. And because all flat earthers, Barnabas included, are complete imbeciles. But anyway, Barney, sorry to interrupt. Please continue.
And so this local dome syndrome kind of led me to investigate
Watch YouTube videos.
the electromagnetic properties of the dome. And I think the dome is electromagnetic just as the whole big dome is electromagnetic. The local small domes are also electromagnetic.
Oh, I don't know anything about electromagnetic... I don't even know how to say it. Oh, but I don't know anything about electromagnetism. Nailed it. But luckily for me, domes aren't real, so it doesn't matter anyway.
On this picture we can also see that the rainbow just starts right here in the middle of the village and ends, you know, in the other town. On this picture we can clearly see the beginning and the end of the rainbow, and again it just shows a local rainbow.
Now I'm sitting here listening to Barney and I may be oversimplifying this just a tad, and I apologise if I am, but I've just realised, using Barney's logic about local domes, so basically a big glass bowl over the top of Swansea, we'll say for example. Where's the way in and the way out? Why isn't everybody in Swansea starved of oxygen? Why don't I crash into an invisible glass wall when I try to leave Swansea in my car? These are the kinds of questions I want answers to. So come on Barney, surprise me. Say something intelligent.
Here's a nice picture that actually shows the beginning of the town where the electromagnetic dome starts. Now here I want to insert another experience I had for quite some time, is that when you go from one area to another, you experience that there is a difference, a different feeling.
Now I'm quite surprised that I'm actually going to agree with Barney, because I know exactly what he means. It's like, for example, whenever I have to travel over the Severn Bridge into England. You know that scene in Star Wars where Luke Skywalker is being trained by Yoda and he goes into the dark, cold place that is strong with the dark side? That's how it feels to me when I have to visit England.
You pass a certain area and it just has a different vibe. And I have this right here where I live. From the town center where I cycle to where I am, which is at the end of the town, there's a crossroad which I pass and then I feel this is different. This is home. I already feel it. It's not like this dark depressive state like the center has. I can breathe. So you can experience this within one town and experience it between towns as well. Every town has a different vibe, right?
That's exactly what I just said, Barney. And whilst I have no idea what a vibe is, I do kind of see what you're saying. But I fail to understand why you think that has to involve domes. It's basically just you're more comfortable where you're from. Your familiar surroundings make you feel at ease.
Another picture I wanted to show you where the rainbow starts at a house. And it looks like an old house. We could even call it a castle, I'm not sure.
Well, if you're not sure, why say it? You could call it a banana. But it isn't.
But what I wanted to point out here is that perhaps this is showing us why some of these castles, some of these buildings are haunted. Because I believe that the two edges of the rainbow are probably portals.
Portal. So no pot of gold? Just portals. Okay.
Portals to different dimensions. You know, we hear people disappearing on this earth.
Well, Barney, I would have thought that somebody like you with such a big rational brain would have been able to easily establish a reasonable explanation for somebody disappearing.
Just like that. They go to a national park and they just disappear.
Yeah, like I said, because nobody has ever gone on a day out never to return because they have fallen victim to a cliff edge or they have ventured out to sea and sadly drowned. Nothing like that ever happens. Whenever somebody disappears, it's obviously due to portals.
Why is that? I'm not totally sure how this works actually.
Wow, Barney, you're such a big smarty.
And here's another nice image where we can clearly see the end and the beginning of the rainbow. And it definitely doesn't show the big dome for the whole flat earth.
Well, I would imagine that's because there is no dome, Barney, and only an idiot like you would think that there is.
And shortly after I realized that the rainbow showed the local sun and the local dome, I also had one of the most bizarre experiences right here where I live.
Ooh, bizarre experiences. This should be good.
I saw two sunsets.
That's not bizarre. I saw two sunsets just this week. One was last night. One was the night before.
One sunset was on the west as usual, but the other sunset was on the east.
Ah, now that is bizarre. Provided you have evidence to prove it, of course.
And I was like, what the f? And I mean, this was real. I have video proof for that.
Uh-oh. Video proof from Barney. Am I about to be proven wrong by a flat earther?
But I'm not going to show the video here.
Ah. So not gonna get proven wrong at all then, because as per usual, like every other flat earther, Barney has all the proof he needs. He's just not gonna show us.
But I could clearly see that there's one sunset there on the west, lighting up the sky and the clouds, and the other one is right there, where it usually rises. And then I realized,
Sometimes it's better to keep your mouth shut and give the impression that you're stupid than to open it and prove it.
one of the things that I was never able to answer to questions about the flat earth is that why the sun is not getting smaller when it goes down the horizon.
Well, that's because it doesn't get smaller, Barney, and every other flat earther in the world, ever. It actually appears, due to a psychological phenomenon known as the moon illusion, to get bigger as it goes over the horizon. But that's going to be a whole different video, maybe, if I can be bothered to do the research. And just as an interesting little factoid, and I'm amazed that Nathan Oakley has never brought this up, did you know that you can see the sun for a few short minutes before it rises and after it sets due to refraction? Did you know that, Nathan? Because you love refraction. You don't know what it is, but you love it all the same.
I want to show you a couple of movies that show the local dome.
No, because they're movies, and because showing movies in videos has got copyright claim written all over it. Sorry, Barnabas. Oh, I don't know anything about electromagnetic. I don't even know how to say it. Oh, but I don't know anything about electromagnetism. Nailed it.
Alright, watch this next. But before you do, make sure you subscribe. By order of the Creaky Blinder.